America, we've got to be better than this. Hello, I'm Eddie Lawrence, and here's today's devotional thought. My heart's heavy from the taking of Charlie Kirk's life yesterday. Young statesman. I so respected Charlie, agreed with his values. Not everybody did, but I do. I loved his family values. I loved his ideas about freedom of speech and so forth. But I was stunned as social media platforms began to give people's responses to Charlie's life having been ended. People were applauding it, celebrating it. America, we've got to be better than this. Listen, you may not agree on someone's politics. You may not agree on the solutions they're offering for culture. But certainly, we should be able to come together and say when someone assassinates a young man on a college campus for entering into dialogue about the issues of our day, surely we can all say, that's evil. We're against it. Surely we should be able to come together collectively and say, we may not agree on a lot of things, but we can agree on this. America, we've got to be better. We've got to be better. Have the courage and backbone to call evil, evil when you see it. Even if it doesn't fit your political agenda, if it doesn't fit your moral compass, evil is evil. And listen, God's standard is what we've got to live by. In Joshua chapter 5, Joshua, leading the children of Israel into the promised land, is confronted by a man. He didn't know he was a supernatural being, but he was. He had a sword, and Joshua said, are you on our side or our enemy's side? And the person spoke and said, I am the commander of the Lord's army. I'm on neither side. In other words, I'm on the Lord's side. And that should be our question. Not about what political persuasion, not about this issue or that issue, but what does the Lord say? What does the book say? We've got to have a standard that we govern by. Our forefathers who founded this nation had a standard, and it was from a Judeo-Christian ethic based on the Scriptures. The other passage is out of Isaiah chapter 5, where Isaiah is prophesying those woeful judgments to a rebellious Israel. And he described the atmosphere that then was, and I believe that he saw in the future. People were looking at evil and saying, that's good. Looking at good and saying, that's evil. They'd look at light and say, that's darkness, and look at darkness and say, that's light. Same way, was calling sweet bitter and bitter sweet. In other words, they had reversed the moral standards from what God had delivered them, that they were to live by. And our nation was founded on certain principles. Life. That was the first one, life. Listen, when someone's life is taken, like Charlie's was taken yesterday, we've got to be better than having people applauding and celebrating it. Let's come together and stand against evil. What kind of atmosphere do you want your children to go to school in? What kind of atmosphere do we want on the streets where you go out to eat, where you do your business and so forth? What kind of culture do we want to live in? We've got to be better than this and come together united. And whether it's Charlie Kirk or someone else whose life was taken in these kind of ways, and stand together and say, this is evil and we are against it. And we will work together to end it. Lord, help us. And I'm praying for Charlie's family, and I encourage you to do the same. And let's all work on this person. Yeah, point at yourself. Say, I'm going to work on me. I want to make sure that I'm on the Lord's side. And I want to make sure that I'm not being blind to what's truly evil and what's truly good, because the Scripture says it's through good that we triumphed over evil. Thanks for hearing me out, and pray about this. Bless you.